in the saddle again. Did West Florida win? They did.
Running on empty, running low, into the sun, but I'm running behind. Gotta do what you can just to keep your love alive. That's enough.
You have just unlocked the door to the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension.
I love that song.
A dimension of sound and of sight.
So does Deborah.
You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of offense and defense. You have just crossed over into the Irish Bill Sports Zone.
Irish Bill Sports broadcast of Navarre Raider football. Here's your host and the voice of Raider Nation, Irish Bill. And here come the Raiders.
Pick Wizard checking in.
Yeah.
Deborah. You had another close one, Deborah.
Win's a win.
Welcome to Week 8 of Irish Bill's Twist on Sports. It's Irish Bill with Seminole Bob, the good-looking one to my right.
I'm here on a Tuesday.
Over there.
Oh, okay. Hey, hi. It's good to see you.
Here we are, Week 8. Navarre comes off probably, well, that was a tough district loss. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, it sure was. A lot of things didn't go right for Navarre. Starting with the first play on offense, fumble deep in their own end.
And I was talking with Marty, Josh's dad, yesterday morning, and he said that's the first time that Josh has ever fumbled in a game.
Oh, I believe it.
And he said he was so down on himself after the game.
Right.
He didn't let it bother him throughout the rest of the game, but after the game.
Did Josh say it was a legit fumble?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, he was pretty upset with himself. But anyways, we'll get to you in a second, Bammer. Great show tonight. Here is Week 8, October 15th already.
Crazy.
It is crazy.
2 months and 10 days.
Till Christmas.
Santa will be going ho, ho, ho.
And our offense last week says no, no, no.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
Well,
that was just too easy.
What was Coach more disappointed in? The offense or the lack of tackling by the defense? I just escapes me as it escaped them.
I know McQueen was a very gifted and elusive runner. And look at his passing. He was only 6 of 18.
Right.
His percentage was 33%.
Right.
He passed for 88 yards. One big one that Marquez White just mistimed his jump.
He just took it out of Marquez's hands.
Yeah. I was talking to Marty. Marty said he just kind of mistimed his jump because it should have been picked off or knocked down, one or the other. But anyways, you got to put it behind you. It is the Publix Beach Bowl Cup week. Yep. The Raiders and the Dolphins will take place down yonder on 98 in a little town known as Gulf Breeze. And we'll be on the visitor side, our usual spot. So I have to bring double the extension cords.
10,000 feet of extension cord. And pray that nobody underneath the water cooler unplugs it? Is that one?
No, this is the one. Yeah, you're right. The bubbler down by the bathrooms on the far side.
Right.
And but I need about 200 foot, about 150 to 200 foot of extension cords Friday night. But we'll talk about that game in a little bit because I got all the numbers of that game.
All the numbers.
Who
and
coached?
Probably that much duct tape, too.
Yeah, probably. A lot of duct tape. Quack, quack.
Quack, quack, says it.
The quacks will never end. Joe said they will bounce back with a big win this week. I agree, Joe.
I agree. I think so.
And
I think so, too.
We might you know what? Last week we missed Coach Joe because he was chasing down a Red Bull truck.
Yep.
A missing Red Bull truck. I don't know where he ended up finding it, but you heard where he found it, didn't you? Where was it?
It was at his ex-wife's house.
Go figure.
Yep.
But, yeah, so we might hear from him tonight, hopefully. He likes to check in on Tuesday nights, not so much on Wednesdays, because he kind of want to take the spotlight away from Coach Bagley. But tomorrow night we're gonna have a different night, same show, different
twist.
We're going into it. Yeah, there you go.
Hey,
a different twist.
Yeah. No twist.
No twist. Just a different twist.
Right.
Anyways, I talked with Dean Barrow tonight, the head of the Navarre Raider marching band, and we're going to have a couple of the band members on our show tomorrow night. They had a couple of big things over the last couple of months that happened to the band, but we're not going to talk about those tonight. We're going to leave that for tomorrow night's show. We're going to talk about our high school schedules this week, college football schedules, our Panhandle Power Rankings. The young man that we picked last week went off again this week, but I did not select him because there was another man that I thought was just a tad better this week. Then we're going to, if we got time, we'll get into the Navarre Raiders. Where are they now? We'll go over the Gulf South Conference, SIAC Conference updates. It. Miles 4-0, the only undefeated team in the SIAC Conference right now. You had a school. Why are you talking about the SIAC Conference of Miles? Well, that's where my son played and graduated from, and 2 conference championships in his 2 years there, 2 gaudy rings that he hardly ever wears because, they are big. But so congratulations to Miles and their big win last week, undefeated. Then we'll finish it up. I hope you got a good rant tonight.
Oh, I do.
We got Grant's Rants to finish off the show on Tuesday nights at Culver's. So let's get right into it. Unfortunately, like I said, the Raiders fall to Crestview this past week, 27-7. They cut it to 7 early on in the third quarter. Just couldn't get anything going after that, especially after they got back the onside kick. Couldn't do anything with it, and Crestview just took control the rest of the game in a 27-7 win. Our Ian Lockwood player of the game, Crestview quarterback Jay McQueen. He rushed for 168 yards, passed for 88, combined for 3 touchdowns on the night. Our offensive player of the game, Andre Spence, with the 50-yard jaunt for the Raiders' only score. Our Will Sutter, defensive player of the game. He's just there all the time. Vinny Villanova, as he finished the night with 11 solo tackles, a sack, and 2 tackles for loss. What a year he's having already with 72 solo tackles on the season, so averaging over 10 solo tackles a game. Getting it done for the Raider defense. The passing game was a little suspect because we didn't see much. Actually, it's more pedestrian than it was suspect. Only 2 passes in the first half, and 1 was a penalty, so it was only officially 0 for 1. On the night, only passed for 21 yards on the night. Those passes went to Jacob Crowder, Dante Walker, and Joshua Wilson. On the ground, they're led rushing by Andre Spence, 59 yards and a score. Keegan Gilbert with 48 yards on 16 carries, and Josh Wilson 47 yards on 10 carries. Navarre special teams, Jack Byer was 1 for 1 on extra points. Jacob Bishop has one of his best night average-wise, 3 punts for a 40.3 average and 2 inside the 20.
Inside the 20.
Yeah. And Marquez White, 3 kickoff returns, 54 yards, 1 punt return for 8 yards. And Zeke Burgess had a block kick on the Crestview Bulldogs' last touchdown. Trey Hardman for Crestview, he went 3 for 4. He had a good night. Leading the way once again in tackles, Bryce Wheeler, the sophomore, 13 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 4 quarterback hurries. We already talked about Vinny. Easy Gasca with 10 tackles, 3 quarterback hurries, 9 tackles each for Andre Spence, Braxton Barr, and Bryce Moore. Chris Sanders with 8, Marquez White with 7 and an interception, his second on the season. Jakari Thomas with 6 tackles. He's been playing solid football since he came back from the injury.
Sure has.
Cooper Black, good to see him back out there, back in black. There we go. I should have had the song waiting for that one. Zeke Burgess, 2 tackles on that block kick. Ron Strom, Will Payton, and Matthew Lee with the tackle each. So the Raiders got to get that behind them going into this week, Bob.
Yeah, most certainly. They should have had more tackles. We just missed too many tackles. I'm sure Coach went back to the basics this week, and start from scratch. Sometimes you got to do that. We had McQueen and running backs pinned for loss, tackle for loss, and they just squirmed out of our grasp.
And it seemed to be like 3rd and long every single time, and they converted.
Same thing in the Mosley game.
Yeah.
Same thing in the Mosley game where their quarterback killed us. So
Deborah said the picture with the new camera was beautiful. Thank you. Got to enjoy the first quarter with my grandson. It was his very first game. My daughter Brooke brought him up on top of the roof. So he got to enjoy his first high school football game. He went home after the first quarter because it was past his bedtime. It was almost getting past mine, too.
I was about to say, is it past yours, too?
I beat you to the punch there.
Well,
anyways, we talk about a little bit about this game this week, Gulf Breeze and Navarre. The overall series, Navarre leads 16-9. The Beach Bowl Cup, they lead 14-2. It all started back in 1999, the first year full team for the Raiders. They lost to Gulf Breeze, as the head coach back then was Don Cobb for Gulf Breeze, Kenny Williams for Navarre. That score was 52-21 Gulf Breeze. In 2000, Gulf Breeze beat the Raiders 31-10. Same 2 coaches. 2001, Gulf Breeze 35, Navarre 12. Raiders finally tasted success in 2002 as Larry Olson came in and took over as the head coach, and they beat Don Cobb's Gulf Breeze Dolphins 21-13. Gulf Breeze would go on to win the next 4 in a row. Don Cobb would finish out in 2003, and then Chris Nemeth would come in for a dozen years. And they go to 2006, where the Gulf Breeze Dolphins took out Navarre 24-22. And then 2007 was Larry Olson's last year for the Raiders. He took the Raiders to their very first 2 playoff victories. Playoff appearances. Their playoff victories would come under the next head coach, Chad Lashley. All 4 years that Chad was at the helm, they beat Gulf Breeze every year. 18-9, 42-12, 34-24, and 32-0. Jay Walls would come in 2012, coached the Raiders to 12 years, and in that time period, he went 9-2 against the Gulf Breeze Dolphins. And Namath would be replaced by Bobby Clayton in 2016. That was a Michael Carter year where they held Michael to 85 yards rushing in that game. The Raiders would go on to the state semifinals that year, and that would be their only regular season loss. Navarre would come back and win the next 4, 29-23, 40-12, 28-21, 35-21, before Gulf Breeze won 38-26 in that bizarro game where they returned 3 fumbles for touchdowns in that game, 38-26.
Yeah.
And 2022, Navarre 28, Gulf Breeze 24. And a wild one last year, 49-48 in overtime, as Gulf Breeze led late, and the Raiders came back, took the lead. Gulf Breeze tied it at the end. They would go to overtime. Navarre scores on their second play, and Gulf Breeze would come back and tie it on 3rd down. But they went for 2, and the Raiders stopped them. Actually, the ball was never got to the quarterback's hands. It went to the ground, and Connor Black picked it up and closed out the game. And 49-48 overtime win. That was Jeff Gerke's only year at the helm at Gulf Breeze. This year you got 2 new coaches in the Public Speech Bowl Cup, Jim Stomps for Gulf Breeze and Garrett Bagley for the Raiders. So in this series, Navarre's outscored Gulf Breeze 655 to 547, or 26.2 average. Gulf Breeze 21.8. Don Cobb was 4-1. Chris Nemeth 3-9. Bobby Clayton 2-5. Jeff Gerke 0-1. Kenny Williams was 0-3 in the series. Larry Olson 2-4. Chad Lashley 4-0, and Jay Walls 9-2. And that sets up the Public Beach Bowl Cup this Friday night down the road in the Splash Zone, known as Gulf Breeze High School.
Yep, don't need any kind of encouragement to get up for the game. Need to, keep the excitement under control. Play good, solid football. It's not a district game anymore.
No.
But it's important to continue momentum because next week we have the Pace Patriots coming to town.
They start the season with three juggernaut games. Mm-hmm. I mean, Catholic, Choctaw, and Mosley.
Right.
And then they finish it with Pace and Niceville. And what a schedule this year.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if they do strength of schedule or whatever. Navarre's got to have a top 5 toughest in the 850 for sure schedule.
Most definitely. On the season, Roma Marshall leading the way, 42-74, 422 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. On the ground, Andre Spence, 67 carries, 385 yards, 6 touchdowns. And receiving, Connor Hamlin, 8 receptions for 85 yards. Kickoff returns, Marquez White with 420 yards, 17 for a 24.7 average. He's a lone guy that's returned punts 4 for 35, just under 9 per return. Jack Meyer, 4 of 6 on extra points, 1-1 on field goals. Gate Fugate out, injured. So Jack will be filling in pretty much the rest of the year. Kate Fugate 2 of 2, 2 of 3 on field goals. The Raiders only averaging 12.8 points per game. And Bob, I went back and looked at the history a little bit. The lowest average for a regular season Raider team was 14 points. Right now, they're on pace to break that. But I look for a big game this Friday night against Gulf Breeze.
Not a record you want to.
No.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's going to be another potentially high-scoring game.
Quarterback for Gulf Breeze had a big game last week, 325 yards passing.
Yeah.
They had a little bit of trouble running the ball against Milton.
Navarre has got to get away from being one-dimensional. We were just too predictable. And run left, run right, run center. Anyway, so hopefully the players will play better, the coaches will coach better, and the announcers will announce better.
I was looking at, I thought our numbers offensively were low. The Gulf Breeze has actually scored less points than we have.
Is that right?
They've only scored 68 points on the season. We've scored 77. We've given up 199. They've given up 221.
Wow.
66 points. They're only averaging 9.4 points per game. On the defensive side of the ball for the season, like we said, Vinny Villanova leading the way. 72 solo tackles, 7 assists. Team leader with 1 caused fumble with Andre Spence. 4 sacks, team leader. Tied for the team lead in tackles for loss with 8 with Easy Gasca. What a season Vinny's having. He's tied for lead in extra bones with Andre Spence with 30.
Did you see the hit on the replay?
I did. Oh, my gosh. Wow. That was their quarterback let that young man out to dry.
I showed it to my wife, and she goes, ooh, that had to hurt. Or that left a mark, and I go, I bet it did.
Yeah, when I went back, because I think Marty got a I forget. I know as Villanova's that posted a video of it. And it was like, I think the whole crowd went, ooh.
Did you go back and listen to your call on Spence's touchdown run?
I haven't yet.
Oh, man.
Was it good?
Oh, God.
I got a message. I got a good friend of mine that I was in Korea with, Mike Thomas, known as Haas. He's coached high school football out in Arizona. The Liberty High School that's always rated in the top 10 in the country. Yeah. They won 3 of the last 5 state titles in Arizona. He retired this year. What a great coach. He said, Bill, only you could come up with a call like that. He was watching the game out in Arizona, and he said, only you. I said, I'm good for one every once in a while. But Joe says 35-10 this week. Raiders over Gulf Breeze.
Possibly. I mean, we've got to mix it up.
We do.
Just cannot rely on the running backs because they'll cheat the linebackers up, and they'll stack the line, and there's only so much to Big Bubba's and our tight end. Many times we were in double tight end set with 5 on, so we had basically seven linemen, and couldn't get the job done. So everybody's going to have to perform their best this week.
Your interception leaders on the season, Andre Spence and Curtis Sanders with 2 each. Your quarterback hurries leaders, Bryce Wheeler and Easy Gaskell with 16 each. Your big hit leader is Cooper Black with 7. And let's go over last week's game, and then we'll go out commercial break, and we'll be back. We'll finish up segment 1 here. Thursday games last week, Bay 35, West Florida 13. Choctaw over Rickers 31-7. Bozeman knocks off Port St. Joe in a close one, 21-18. Mosley over Niceville, 37-28. Pace 42, all over Tate 7. Gulf Breeze 26, Milton 17. The Panthers stay winless. Or winless. There you go. Pine Forest over Booker T. Washington. The only reason that Booker T. Washington got 2 points is their punter stepped out of the back of the end zone on a bad snap. Otherwise, they would have been a shutout. Escambia 35, Pensacola 21, Arnold 14, Fort Walton Beach 3, Catholic all over Walton 52-16. Couldn't see a long run in the playoffs for that team. South Walton over Freeport 48-0. That one surprised me in score a little bit. Lincoln over Childs 33-3. Gadsden County, that team's for real. They took out a good Florida High team 42-11. Mariana, that train keeps rolling down the track too. 8-0, first team to 8-0 on the season. They beat Leon 56-10. Godby over Wakulla 27-20. Rutherford all over North Bay Haven 50-0. Zion Chapel, Alabama in a close one over Baker 21-20. Jay over Northview 34-0. Holmes County 44, Vernon 6. Cottondale 56, Liberty County 53. And that one, a big.
Did basketball season start early?
A big night for one Joe Carrion Garrett again in that one. We'll talk about him in a little bit. Franklin County in a close one over Weewa, 21-14. Taylor County stays unbeaten on the season.
That was a big win.
13-10 over Chiefland.
Chiefland was previously undefeated or had 1 loss.
North Florida Christian over FAMU in the battle of distress. St. John Paul II over McLean, an upset 40-30. Osceola Christian stays unbeaten, 27-12 over Lighthouse. Jefferson County over Sneeds, 21-13. Bless you. That's the first time you haven't said that when I said Sneeds.
Bless you.
Rocky Bayou all over Spring Creek Charter, Georgia, 51-8. Rains at Madison County was postponed due to weather. Chipley at North Florida Educational Institute was canceled. So that's back-to-back weeks. Chipley's games have been canceled.
Jeez.
So they'll finally get to play. And then there was a Saturday game, Bluntstown over Dixie County, 22-0.
Okay.
So there's your games. We're going to go out commercial break. Seminole Bob, Irish Bill. Irish Bill's Twist on Sports Week 8 here at where are we at, Bob?
We're at Culver's, downtown Navarre, blocking a bridge
from beautiful.
beautiful Navarre Beach.
That's right. We'll be right back, folks.
To everyone making time for life's best moments, let our team member Sandy share how Culver's is serving up Celebration by the Scoop.
Our rich and creamy fresh frozen custard makes every day a little bit sweeter. Enjoying a handcrafted treat with all the ooey gooey toppings you love? Now that's worth celebrating.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a sweet treat to make every moment count. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Sometimes all you need to change your life is a sign.
Like an actual sign that's like above you. And no, I don't love B-dubs just because I'm a buffalo with wings. Frankly, that's offensive and reductionist. It's like they made beer into a place and gave that place sports and chicken wings. And the people, the best.
Marty! You're dead weight!
Yeah, this place is kind of like heaven. You know, without needing to get hit by a bus.
Let's go Sports Bar. We always got to get that one in there, Bob, before we go on to our next commercial.
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire the right person. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills with the right jobs from the production floor to the front office. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
University Lending Group, located in Harvest Village, is Navarre's local mortgage lender. A buying, building, or refinancing a dream home is in your future. You need to contact University Lending Group. Jennifer Gomes, Stacy Wright, and Sheila Billingham are the loan specialists who have the experience to take you step by step to make your buying, building, or refinancing experiences smooth. So University Lending at 752 Navarre Parkway, Suite 56, or call us at 850-396-0322. Navarre Fitness is where old school meets new. Whether you're into free weights or the latest and greatest weightlifting equipment, they will meet your needs. They have cardio machines as well if you want to get your sweat on. Whatever direction you decide to go, trainers Clay Horton, Brick Grubbs, Andrew Coase, and Stephanie Hunt will be there to assist you along the way. So what are you waiting for? Oh yeah, how do I join? Just go to navarrefitness.net and check out our rates or call us at 850-816-5434. You can even stop by our location at 8700B Navarre Parkway in Navarre. You can also visit our sister gym, Midway Fitness, at 5660 Gulf Breeze Parkway, Unit 1. Both facilities are open 24/7. We are the place to go to get you started on the road to a better you. The Hustle isn't named after anyone. Not after a designer, definitely not after a mythological god. It's not about stripes or ranking or status. The Hustle is real. The Hustle is about you. So keep in mind when you're repping and rocking Hustle Hard USA streetwear, you can tell all the onlookers that this mark, this brand represents your hustle, your grind. You put in that time, that sweat, that pain. Now it's up to you to show them all what you got. Win or lose, the hustle is real. Go to www.hustlehardusa.com, and I can guarantee you will not be disappointed. Great teams have great support. The Navarre Raiders have one of the best support organizations, the Navarre Raider Quarterback Club. All the members see to it that the Raiders have all available necessities to keep the Raiders on track. Well, they're seeing to it that they are properly fed, have good transportation, or making sure that all Raider fans can hear all the exciting Navarre Raider football action. The Navarre Raider Quarterback Club is there to make it happen. Thanks, Navarre Raider Quarterback Club, for your support of your winning Navarre Raiders on IrishBillSports.com.
Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land stretching out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me my countryside.
New York is where I'd rather stay.
I get an allergic smelling hay.
I just adore a penthouse view.
Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue.
The chores.
The stores.
Fresh air.
Times Square.
For my wife.
Goodbye, City Life. Green Acres, we are there.
Bum, bum.
Welcome back to Irish Bill's Twist on Sports. This Irish Bill with Seminole Bob. And it is week 8.
We have fans.
We have fans.
Fans?
Fans everywhere. There's fans.
fans.
We got to come up with our own song.
No.
Not us singing it, though. Definitely not us singing it. Well, anyways, Bob, you know I forgot. You know what that is? It's Irish Bill's Panhandle Power Rankings for Week 8.
Oh, Bill,
Mosley moves into the top spot with their win over Niceville. Pace 3, Choctaw 4, Escambia 5, Tate 6, Arnold 7. Small schools, Catholic, Mariana, Jay, Cottondale, Chipley, Walton, and Baker. Your offensive player of the week from Mosley, the Mosley Dolphins, Locavian Jackson, who we got to see early on. 14 carries, 266 yards, and 5 touchdowns against a very, very staunch Niceville defense. Your defensive player from Gulf Breeze, his second time this year. Noah Perez with 19 tackles in a win over Milton last week to go with 2 tackles for loss and 2 quarterback hurries. And South Walton Seahawks kicker Brody Hansen goes 6 for 6 on extra points. And those are your players of the week.
Yep. So on the large school side, what do 6 of the 7 teams have in common?
That's a good question.
Navarre will have played them by the end of the year.
That is correct. The only team that they won't is Arnold.
6-2. That's a good year for them.
Indeed. A Catholic, a big win over Walton last week.
Yep.
But that win, Walton's wins or losses are against tough opponents. Mariana. I can't remember who the other team they lost to, but it was another strong team. And
Gadsden is out of our
a little bit out of our region. We do cover some of their numbers and everything and our players of the week, but
they'd definitely be in the top 7. That's for sure.
They would probably be. They'd probably be number 1 right now.
Could be.
Catholic, wouldn't you like to see that matchup? Catholic and Gadsden County.
They're not in the same district.
They're not in the same classification.
How about Mariana and Catholic?
Well, let's see where Mariana is in Class 2A District 2, where Catholic is in Class 2A District 1, so they would meet up.
Ooh.
And Gadsden County is in Class 2A District 3. So all 3 of those teams with a combined record of 21-2 are all in Class 2A, and they would eventually meet up.
That's kind of eye-watering. Maybe not in the first round, but down the road.
So you're probably wondering how many undefeated teams we have left.
Bill, how many undefeated teams?
Well,
I
let's
wanted
see.
to ask you that question.
Mosley 7-0.
Mm-hmm.
Mariana 8-0. The first team to 8 wins. Taylor County 6-0.
Cottondale.
And Cottondale 7-0. So we're down to 5. Was that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're down to 4 undefeated teams. Wow. And how many teams have not registered a victory? We have Milton,
FAMU,
North Bay Haven, FAMU, and Central and Liberty County. Liberty County, I mean, guys, they gave Cottondale all they wanted last night. 56-53 was that final score.
A year's worth of points in one game.
Yeah, ain't that for sure. Well, anyways, so I got to talk about another young man, our player of the week last week for Cottondale. Last week he rushed for 418 yards. This week he rushed for 338 yards.
Is that all?
And 4 touchdowns. So over the last 2 weeks, he's rushed for 756 yards and 9 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks.
Kind of slacking off.
Yeah. Mr. Jokarian Garrett. Good night for Gulf Breeze's Brock Stomps last week. He went 22 of 31, 325 yards, and 2 touchdown passes. They had no running game, though. They only ran for like 12 yards. So the Vars can, if they can stop the passing game of Gulf Breeze, they should have, I won't say an easy night, an easier night. But the big Gaston County's Jeremiah Thomas went for 7 receptions for 179 yards and 2 touchdowns in their win. His quarterback Landon Dowdy, 18 to 24, 326 and 4 scores. They have played all comers this year, and I can't remember who their only loss was to. I think was that the one to Coffee, Georgia, where they.
Yes.
And so Coffee, Georgia was a 5A state champion in Georgia last year. So they have went into Tennessee. They've went into Georgia, and they don't care. They ain't scared.
That's what their wide receiver said. Good to the last drop.
Yeah, and another solid night by our defensive winner last week, Mac Jones, not the quarterback for the Carolina. Where is he at anyways? Is he in Jacksonville? He's in Jacksonville now. But anyways, Mac Jones had 17 tackles last week, 3 tackles for loss. Quarterback Hurry. Gulf Breeze's Cade Rollins with 16. Bryce Wheeler with 13. Special teams for Escambia. The young lady over at Escambia has still not missed, as she was 5 for 5 last week. I think she's 29 of 29 on the season. Walton's Braden Sampson had a 99-yard kickoff return and a 37-yard field goal. And Fort Walton Beach's Wesley Markoch had a 63-yard punt last week.
Oof.
So.
Was that at home or away? That was away.
That was at Arnold.
Oh. Yeah. I was going to say on that AstroTurf.
Yeah, that was. I remember Brady's longest one when he's doing kicking and punting on JV. He had a 66-yarder, and I remember that night very clearly. The return guy is standing on his 40-yard line. Brady's punting from their own 26, and as the ball sailed over his head, he's going like this. He's calling a fair catch, but it's 20 yards over his head. It lands at the 20 and rolls inside the 10 down to the 8. 66-yard punt with 54 of it in the air, and it was just one of those nights.
Where was it at?
It was at home. It was a home game against. It was a home game against. I think then his longest field goal was 43 yards in a JV game, and that was against Crestview. But that was. It's fun to watch a good punter when they master their craft. Well, it's that time of the week. What time is it, Bob?
8:40.
Well, that's not that time.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, it's high school predictions for week 8.
Prediction.
But first, we're going to talk about. Actually, this is week 9 in our predictions. Week 8, of course. Joe, can't you let somebody win it for once on their own?
He did in college.
He did, but we tied last week 22-6. And you know what? I picked first. Now I get Joe's picks. He picked all the same teams that I did. What's up with that, Joe? He said it's his way of maintaining his lead.
Well,
that's good strategy.
Yeah.
It's very
remember,
strategic.
my strategy is I wouldn't send in my picks. I'd give them to you at showtime.
We could do that, too, if you wanted to. We used to do that. You used to hold off on your picks. Well, anyways, we got a couple of Thursday night games this week. Mm-hmm. Pine Forest at Pace Thursday night. We're all going with the Patriots. What a season they're having so far. 6-1 on the season. And that offense is rolling without a quarterback. They have a running back playing quarterback.
Right.
Because both of their top quarterbacks transferred. one to Pine Forest, so he'll get to come home for a game on Thursday night. And their other quarterback was the starting quarterback at Escambia last week, Billy Dunn. So we're all going with Pace in that one. Sneeds at Lighthouse PCA. Bob is going with Sneeds Pirates.
Gesundheit.
They're playing, but now you don't have a leg to stand on. Lighthouse, Paul, Joe, and I are going with the Stingrays. Bob going with Sneeds. On Friday night, Navarre Gulf Breeze, we're all going with the Raiders on the road. All going with West Florida over Milton as they host the Panthers. The long season continues for the team up north. Lincoln at Niceville. Paul takes Lincoln. And the rest of us take the Eagles to get back on the winning track.
I have a feeling. I think Niceville is going to surprise a few people.
Lincoln always gives them fits, though. So it should be an interesting matchup.
They play at an electric place there over on John Sims Parkway.
I mean, what an amazing environment on Friday nights out in Niceville. Crestview at Escambia. We're all going with the Gators at home. St. Michael's Catholic ventures across I-10 into Pensacola High, and we all got St. Michael's Catholic taking that one. Not sure what their nickname is. Do you know?
They are the. No, I don't. They're
way to build it up and just let us down, Bob.
Well, they're from Fairhope. Maybe you can look it up
while you're talking.
While I tell you that this year Pensacola Senior is 0-3 at home games. So St. Michael's a very good team in Fairhope, just yonder.
Let's see if we can get a. They are the Cardinals.
That makes sense. Cardinals, Bishops,
Crusaders.
Popes. Yeah. Well, Cardinals.
Or they could be the Marauders.
Yeah. Kind of let us down. Or
the Panthers.
St. John's Panthers, yeah.
Who would have thought? St. John Paul II or the Panthers. But anyways, we're all going with the Catholics there. Booker T. Washington at Tate. Tate should bounce back in this one. We're all going with the Aggies at home. Godby at Fort Walton Beach. The lackluster offense of the Vikings continues, and Godby should have an easy way with them on Friday night. Arnold at Mosley. Their winning ways continue.
Do you think there's any chance that Mosley slips after a big game?
No chance.
Because Arnold's, 6-2?
Well, I read an article last night in the Herald.
Panama
the News
City.
Herald, Panama City.
Mm-hmm.
Coach
Tommy Joe Whidden,
former he's a Niceville graduate, former assistant coach at Niceville.
Mm-hmm. Former quarterback.
They've been holding Jackson back all year just for the Niceville game, and a lot of people don't know Lacavian Jackson is a Mississippi State commit. He's a 4-star. And so they lined him up in the backfield last week where they hadn't done that all year long. And Niceville had no tape on him running the ball. And they got a lot of tape after last week. 266 yards, 14 carries, 5 touchdowns. Mosley hosting Arnold should be an easy win for the Dolphins there. Bay goes over to Walton. Walton should put up a high number against Bay. Bay is playing better.
Yes.
But Walton has one of the better quarterbacks in the area with Wells Bettenhausen. With South Walton venturing over to Wakulla, they got an easy win against Freeport. Won't be that easy heading over to Crawfordsville.
Crawfordsville is a tough place to play. That's really the only reason I chose Wakulla, just because of the home field advantage against the Seahawks.
Joe says, I've been saying since week 1 that Mariana was going to be a strong team. Coach Jack Glover has them playing great football. Yes, he does. And they got a very tough defense to go with their high-powered offense, and that's a great combination. Madison County at Florida High. Madison County suffers a loss last week. Actually, they lost their game because of the weather, Hurricane Milton. That's the only thing strong named Milton these days. was the Storm. We all have the Cowboys heading over to Tallahassee for the victory. St. John Paul II at Rickards, we're all going with the Blue Turf Smurfs, the Rickards Raiders in that one.
Well, we thought they played that one game. They did play a home game at
Gene Cox.
Yeah.
Against Choctaw.
Sure did. Yeah, sure did.
Choctaw walked all over them. Bradford at Leon. Bradford, they got to be mad going into this game. They suffered a loss to Newberry, and they were probably a double-digit favorite in that game, and Newberry shut them down 21-7.
23-7.
23-7?
Mm-hmm.
And we got all Bradford in that one. Bradford took out Catholic in the state, I think, semifinals last year over in Bradford.
Did.
In an overtime game. They went for 2. Mariana at Holmes County, we're all going with Mariana there.
Should be a good game to watch, Bill.
Taylor County at Sewanee. Taylor County looks to stay unbeaten on the season. And they should have no problem with Sewanee. Rutherford at Bozeman. We're split here. Joe and I going with the Rams, and Bob and Paul going with the home team, Bozeman. That's one of the few games that we're split right down the middle. Baker at Freeport. All of us got Baker in this one. Chipley over Destin. Play their first game in 3 weeks. And Northview heading over to Bluntstown. That's a long trip for Northview.
Mercy me.
It's 85 miles from here to Northview, up to Bratt, Florida. And then they got to go all the way over to Bluntstown, which Bluntstown I think is about 150 miles from here. Mm-hmm. So it's about it's a long drive. I'm not even going to tell you how. Franklin County at Port St. Joe having a strong season. We all have them taking out Port St. Joe. North Florida Christian going across town to Maclay. All of us are taking the Marauders in that one. Weewall at FAMU DRS. The dismal ways continue for DRS, which means I'm not even going to say.
The Rattlers don't have a rattle. Is that what you're trying to say?
You can't hear it. You can't hear it when you're going towards the snake. It's anyways, Jefferson County at Liberty County. JC having a good season this year, Bob.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Osceola Christian, we're all going with JC in that one. Osceola Christian looks to stay unbeaten as they go to Bell, and we're all taking Osceola Christian there in Rocky Bayou, heading over to I believe Jacksonville to take on Joshua Christian Academy, and they've only played like 2 or 3 games this year because one being the weather.
Yeah, 0-2, and their nickname are the Eagles.
Okay, and we all got the Knights taking that one. So on the week last week, Joe and I 22-6, Bob 20-8, and then Paul brought up the rear at 18-10. Overall, do I even have to? Joe's got a 9-game lead on me. I got a 5-game lead on Paul, and Paul's got a 5-game lead on you.
Wow!
So you're only 19 games back out of first place there, Robert.
I am the Chicago White Sox of the pickings.
No, you actually have a winning record.
Oh, you went there.
You got 72.5%. Paul's
not bad.
Paul's 74.9. I'm at 77.2, and the pick wizard, or as we call him, Mr. Perfect, 172 and 39, 81.5%.
That's strong.
After 8 weeks of picking, that's is
strong.
pretty strong a season there for you, Mr. Settles. He settles for nothing but first place.
Yeah, he does.
Well, let's move on over to college. Hey, isn't this about the time where we usually hear Coach O about it? I guess we got to wait till we start talking about LSU and their big win, overtime win last week. We'll get to them. We got a Thursday night game, Boston College at Virginia Tech. Paul's the only one taking BC on the road.
Of course.
And what's the spread on that one? I think it's 7.5, if I remember right.
I'm slipping. I don't have a 7. Yep.
7. And we're all 3 of us going with the Tech.
Enter the Sandman.
Oh, I'd love that. That's one of the best beginnings of intros to us walking into the stadium. We got Friday night game. Florida State has been delegated from Saturdays to Friday night.
Their baseball team can't even win a fall
as they head over to Durham, North Carolina to take on the Dukies.
Wade Wallace Stadium. Duke's favored by 3.5.
Florida State is 1-5. Who would have thought that? Not me. Well, anyways, Joe, Paul, and Bob take Florida State. I'm going with the Blue Devils in this one.
You can watch that 6 p.m. on ESPN.
We won't be watching it because we'll be down at the Splice Zone on Friday night.
That's right.
Oregon, fresh off a big win. 12-man football. You got to play it once in a while. But you hear what happened today? For once, the NCAA actually acted quickly. Oregon intentionally put 12 men out on the field with 10 seconds to go. And I think Ohio State was down around their 45 or their 40 or something. Anyways, so they knew they were going to take the penalty because that ran time off the clock. Well, they're down to 6 seconds to go, and the quarterback runs, has one timeout in his pocket, but what does he fail to do? Slide down in a early fashion. He did not, and the clock ran out. And Oregon takes a 32-30 win over Ohio State.
That was
the best team money can buy.
That was pretty close. I dislike Ohio State. Sorry, Buckeye Mike. As much as anyone, they didn't even review it to see if there was any time left. I think that may have been at least a second left.
Possibly. But anyways, we're all taking Oregon as they go to the worst team in the Big Ten, Purdue, who lost a tough one last week, 50-49 in overtime against Illinois.
Oregon's favored by 30.5. Ouch. 7 p.m. kick on Fox.
Oklahoma State at BYU.
The Mormons are favored by 6.5 against the Mulleteers.
I'm 50. I'm a man. Don't go after my players. Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 50.
All right, Coach. Watch your game at 8:15 on ESPN.
Okay, that is also a Friday night game. Our last Friday night game, Fresno State at Nevada. Paul going with the what is the mascot for? They're the Wolfpack, right?
Yes. Fresno's the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs, and three of us are going with Fresno State. Paul's going with Nevada.
Fresno's favored by 3.5. 9:30 kick on CBS Sports Network.
That kicks off Saturdays, where Brady, I, and Trevor will be on the road to Atlanta to the Mercedes-Benz Dome, where the Irish will be facing off with the Georgia Tech, Georgia Wreck, or whatever you want to call them. But we'll be there on the road at that game, but we're not there yet. Wisconsin at Northwestern. This is usually a pretty good matchup. Northwestern put up some points last week, but all of us got the Badgers in this one going on the road for the victory.
They're favored by 6.5, 11 a.m. kick on the Big Ten Network.
East Carolina at Army. Army still unbeaten. All of us going with the Black Knights in that one.
Black Knights favored by 14. Wow. Catch this game same
And they have a quarterback this year.
They do.
That can throw the ball. Arizona State traveling to Cincinnati, the Queen City. And all of us going with the Bearcats at home. Virginia at Clemson. All of us going with the Tigers at home. Their offense is really rolling now. Just in time for the Notre Dame game in a few weeks.
Favored by 20.5.
Miami of Florida going to Louisville. I believe that's a 4-point spread.
4.5. 11 a.m. kick on ABC.
You took the home team in that one, Robert?
I did. It was just too close to call.
And the rest of us going with the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Auburn at Missouri. All of us going with the Tigers at home. South Carolina.
Which Tigers?
Yeah, good point. Missouri, the Mizzou Tigers.
They're favored by 7.5.
War Damn Eagles not going to show up.
War Damn Eagles, the Plainsmen, the Tigers.
Pick a name. Stick with it.
Schizophrenic.
South Kakalaka heading to Oklahoma. All of us going with the Sooners here, but this game should be a very close game.
Oklahoma's only favored by 2.5, 11:45 a.m. kick on the SEC network.
Okay, then we got our Notre Dame going to Georgia Tech. They're playing in Mercedes-Benz Dome. All of us going with the Irish in this one.
Favored by 8.5, 2:30 kick on ESPN.
Alabama going to Tennessee, fresh off that big, huge 2-point win over South Carolina.
Easy now. I don't know what the spread is. I did not.
Alabama is favored to win. I don't know what to.
I do. I'm sorry. A 1.5.
Alabama favored by 1.5. Bob's going with home team Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of us going with Bama. Hawaii at Washington State. All going with the Cougs at home. What's left of the Pac-2?
Favored by 19.5.
I got to watch a little bit of Hawaii because I wanted to watch Boise State last week.
Right.
I was up till 1:30 in the morning watching that game, and Mr. Genty is all as advertised.
He's special.
217 yards rushing in that game in the win. He's over 1,200 yards already in the first 6 games of the season. What a season he's having. Should be a man in the running for the Heisman. Baylor at Texas Tech. Texas Tech playing some quiet, good football this year, Robert.
Mm-hmm. Favored by 8.5. Baylor's having a down year. 3 p.m. kick on ESPN2.
We're all going with Texas Tech in that one. The Red Raiders.
Guns up.
Colorado at Arizona. This is not Jed Fish's team. This is a new head coach at Arizona. 2 of us, Bob and I, are going with the home team Arizona. Joe and Paul are going with Colorado.
Well, Colorado's superstar two-way player is out.
Yep, Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
He's out of the game. Notre Dame lost their best cornerback, All-American cornerback, this past week. Injured his hip.
Quarterback?
Corner.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And USC at Maryland. We're all going with the Trojans there.
Do you like these intersectional games because of teams
that are now in
Pac-10?
Now in the Big Ten.
Yeah. Do you like these intersectional games that you'd only see a game like this maybe in a bowl game?
Have some colors though. I mean, Maryland with their funky helmets,
mm-hmm.
which is the basically their state flag on their helmet.
Right.
And we're all going with USC in that one. Texas A&M playing at the hapless Mississippi State Bulldogs, even though they did score 31 on Georgia last week.
Sure did.
We're all going with A&M in that one. LSU at Arkansas. It's LSU with the big come from behind. They score as time's running out in regulation, and then they go and pull out a overtime victory last week against Ole Miss. They'll be out on the road at Arkansas. And LSU, we're all going. All the guys are going with LSU.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Coach. It's always good to see you.
Yeah, I'm mad.
Why you mad, Coach?
We found the Red Bull truck.
And where was that again?
It was at my ex-wife's house.
I heard you didn't spend a whole lot of time there when you were married.
Hey there. I was coaching football.
That's you are, Coach. You were one heck of a coach.
Well, thank
I don't know if that's good or bad.
What kind of jersey are you wearing there, Bill? Is that a...
This is the
100th.
Looks
like a Tennessee jersey.
It is actually Walter Payton, the Chicago Bears jersey, my favorite football player of all time, is the 100th anniversary jersey of the Chicago Bears, and I got it for a pretty good price. I don't get to wear it very often, and I figured I got my own shows. Why don't I wear them?
I can see why you don't wear it very often, yes.
Why's that? Why's that, Coach?
Because it's like Denver Bronco, but ugly.
Oh, wow. I guess I would expect that. My buddy, you know Seminole Bob? Have you ever seen him? Have you met him yet?
I like that guy. You know why?
Why is
Because he
that?
likes the Packers, and I like the Packers.
Really?
Yeah, me and Vince Lombardi we were like this.
I used to like you, Coach.
Bill, now I could reach across this table and whoop your butt right now, but I won't.
I'll always like you, even if you do like the Acme Packers.
Hey, Bill, that was pretty funny. Did you see that on Facebook or something?
No, that was their original name, Coach.
How'd you like that win last week?
LSU.
Yes, sir.
You score at the end of the game.
Yep.
Send it to overtime.
Yep.
Ole Miss kicks a field goal, a long one.
Yes.
Because you had them fourth and long, and they kick like a 57-yard field goal.
Yes.
To take the lead, and then LSU scores on the very first play.
Of course.
Game over. Turn the lights. The party's over.
Of course.
Is that one of your favorite songs? Remember Don Meredith when he used to sing that?
Of course.
You watch?
Oh, turn out the lights.
Yeah, turn out the lights. Party's over.
Yeah, because
all good things must come to an end.
When I was there, we had a lot of night games at the Baton Rouge. Hey,
how is that place on a Saturday night?
Drunk.
Well, that's Friday morning start time, so all the students start on Friday morning.
Hey, Bill.
What's that?
The special here is crazy for cookie dough.
Oh.
I'm going to go get me some, and if I run into that Bob dude.
Tell him to get his butt back here. He's missing this. He always seems to be missing when you come around.
Well, he was running for the bathroom holding his pants.
Oh, yeah, we definitely don't want to see that happen, having those pants come down.
Yeah, well, it looks like he had an upset stomach or something.
Oh,
but anyway, Bill.
Hate to hear that, Coach, but it's always good to see you.
Well, it's always good to see you, Bill, and, as they say on Baton Rouge,
hey, we did have your cousin in here last
Tigers.
Your cousin came in briefly last week. Or was that your brother?
Was that Maurice?
I think it was.
Maurice, what did he have a bald head?
It seems that when they come around, my co-hosts are gone. Paul just took an exit, and next thing I know, I got to meet Maurice.
Yeah, that Paul dude. He looks like Mr. Clean. Anyone ever tell you that he looked like Mr. Clean?
No, I think that's the first time I ever heard that, Coach.
But you know what? He's got a spectacular voice.
Yes, he does. Touchdown, Raiders!
Yeah. So anyway, all I could say from Baton Rouge, go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Always good to see Coach O as he makes an appearance every once in a while here at where are we at? Culver's? Hey, Bob, did you see Coach O?
Yes, I did.
How's come every time he comes around, you just something's wrong? You just take off. Are you scared of Coach O?
No, I'm scared of running out of toilet paper. That's stress.
I don't blame you on that one, but it's always good to see Coach O. He pops in every once in a while. Last week we missed him. We did get to hear from his brother or his cousin, or maybe they're the same thing.
Maurice.
I don't know, but
Maurice.
Maurice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
M.O. Reese.
Maurice. Is that like I want Maurice's?
Very good.
Maurice's cups. Anyways, Joe checking back in says Red Bull and tequila. Ooh, that sounds like a nasty combination.
That's a terrible way to ruin tequila.
I'm glad I don't drink anymore. Anyways, let's get back to our picks.
I don't drink anymore either.
You don't drink any less either.
That's true.
Well, it's good to see Coach O, and hopefully he pops in again next Tuesday night here at Culver's.
There's no more special on ice cream. I think he just left with a tub.
Did he? Oh, with a big tub?
Yeah.
They gave him the Coach O special tonight then. Wow. You got to love that guy.
That would be funny if Culver's did that. Coach O special.
It was funny. I know it is a parody account, but on Saturday I got a Twitter. Someone followed me on Twitter named Coach O. It was not Coach O. I know that for sure, but somebody started following me on Twitter, Coach O. Anyways, well, let's get back to football. We got Ball State and Vandy. You know what? We questioned you guys last week, didn't we not? Did you not take Vandy last week?
I did not. I took Kentucky.
You took Kentucky. Okay, Paul and Joe took Vandy. I thought there was going to be a letdown.
I do too.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Vandy takes that one, and they're hosting Ball State University this week.
David Litterman's
out of Muncie, Indiana. The place I went through on my way down to Indianapolis to enter into the Air Force. It was through Muncie. Stopped there on a bus stop. Anyways.
When's the last time Vanderbilt was favored by 26.5? And Ball State's FBS, right?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
I'm speechless. I don't know.
I don't know either. 6 p.m. kick on the SEC network.
They got quite a good quarterback there at Vandy this year. We're all going with Vanderbilt at home. Kansas State at West Virginia. Bob's going with you. You like that West Virginia team, don't you?
I do. I like that Green quarterback.
Garrett
Who
Green.
did he play for?
He played at Childs.
That's right. Yep.
He did a number on us his senior year.
K-State's favored by 2.5.
All of us going with K-State except for you, going with West Virginia. Iowa State, what a season they're having quietly. They're taking on UCF. First trip for UCF up to Ames, Iowa.
Ames. Coach Matt Campbell's Cyclones, ugliest jerseys in America. Maybe next to some variety that Oregon wears.
Or Northwestern.
Yeah, that's true. Wyoming, Brown.
Ooh, that one's awful.
Yeah.
I remember when the big guy was wearing them. Josh Allen was playing quarterback at Wyoming. You should not have a guy that big wearing those colors.
Iowa State's favored by 12.5.
We're all going with the Cyclones in that one.
Yep.
Here's the big one.
Yep.
Number 4, Georgia. Actually, number 5, Georgia, I believe. 4 or 5 in either poll. Heading to Austin to take on the number 1 Longhorns.
Longhorns, probably the smallest spread that they'll have this year. Favored by 3.5. 6:30 kick on ABC.
It's time to pull. Not so fast, my friend. You 3 are taking the home team, Texas. I am going with the Bulldogs. They have not lost 2 games in a season in about 5 or 6 years, and they're not going to do it this year either.
I think that's a good
Georgia
pick.
Bulldogs in this one.
Can I change my pick?
We just made them public.
Oh, crap.
Unless we get,
I'm going to stay with Texas.
Unless we get the okay from Pick Wizard, Mr. Pick Wizard.
I withdraw my
your request.
Yes, Texas.
Okay, 3 you guys take Texas. I take Georgia. Iowa going to Michigan State. We're all going with the Hawkeyes in that way. Last week, they scored enough points. That's normally what they score in a season. They scored in one game. They used their full allotment of points, so I'm not sure if they're going to score any this week against Michigan State. But we're all taking them anyway.
Maybe 3-2, Iowa. They're favored by 6.5. 6:30 kick on NBC.
Florida hosting Kentucky in this one. Graham Mertz out for the year. Injury, so we'll get to see Legway the rest of the way.
Florida only favored by 1 in this 6:45 tilt from Florida Field. You can catch this game on the SEC network.
Hogtown. SMU going to Stanford. Stanford's really struggling this year. We're all going with SMU in this one.
Favored by 14.5. 7 p.m. kick on the ACC network.
And there's a couple of games that I left off, and I go back and look.
There were some good ones you left
Indiana,
off, but you can't.
I can't add them now.
Right. No, but I mean,
Indiana hosting Nebraska.
Right.
And I think I missed out on the Michigan game as well. Not that Michigan's any good this year, but
you can't. All these games are pretty solid.
Yeah, I try to mix them up a little bit, and
very few of them are 4-0 type things. They're usually 1-3 or 2-2.
Yep. So now our final game of the night, TCU at Utah. Utah struggled last week, but I think they'll get things rolling against a very weak TCU defense.
They're favored by 6.5. The spread may go down. They lost their quarterback.
On the week last week, Paul and I went 23-7. Bob went 22-8, and the Pick Wizard went 21-9 and relegated to the basement in last week's picks of college football.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of tough games.
News. ESPN just reported that Travis Henry, is that Travis Hunter or Travis Henry, will play on Saturday, maybe only one side of the ball. That's Travis Hunter. Is that who you're talking about, Joe?
Mm-hmm. For
Travis
Colorado.
Hunter.
For Colorado.
Yeah. So thanks, Joe, for that tidbit of information.
It'll be interesting to see if the spread
fluctuates.
Yeah.
There's my word for the night. Fluctuate. You got to watch how you say that. You got to pronounce it correctly.
Fluctuate. Yes.
Anyways, overall in college, I got a 7-game lead over Joe. Paul is 1 game behind Joe, and Bob is 1 game behind Paul. So you're 9 games back. Paul 8, Joe 7, and Irish Bill trying to sneak away and hide on the college picks. But that's all we have on college picks for this week. And, we're ventured into it's 9/11 right now, 9/11. And we try to go off somewhere between 9:15 and 9:30. And you want to get into Gulf South Conference, or do you? I think we got 3 or 4 people tomorrow night. So let's go ahead and get into the Gulf South Conference from last week. Big win for the University of West Florida Argonauts as they took down Delta State 40-28 this past weekend at home. This week they'll be on the road. I think they're going to Chowan. In fact, they are playing Chowan, the new shorter of Gulf South Conference this week, and then they're playing shorter next week. So,
well, maybe our players from Navarre maybe get some more playing time.
Possibly. Chowan did beat Shorter this past weekend, 31-27.
Mercifully.
West Alabama over Mississippi College, 26-0. West Florida over Delta State, 40-28, a game we already mentioned. And Valdosta State in a close one, 32-24 over North Greenville. Only 2 undefeated teams left in conference play and overall. Valdosta State and West Alabama tied at 2-0. And they will be facing, actually, now West Alabama's playing Delta State this week, but Valdosta State 6-0 on the season. Overall, West Alabama 5-0. West Florida in 3rd place in the conference at 2-1. Week 8 schedule coming up. West Florida at Chowan this week. Erskine at North Greenville. Mississippi College at Valdosta State. And West Alabama at Delta State. All conference games this weekend in the Gulf South Conference.
Exciting.
Let's move over to the SIAC Conference, the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. I practiced that one all week. Anyways, Miles College 4-0 on the season in conference play. Right. They got a 1.5-game lead over Clark Atlanta and Fort Valley State, who are both 4-1. Albany State and Tuskegee 3-1. Savannah State and Benedict College 2-2. Kentucky State 2-3. Central State, Edward Waters, and Morehouse all 1-3. Lane College 1-4, and Allen 0-4. This is all conference records. Week 7 results: Clark Atlanta beat Central State 25-20. Kentucky State over Benedict 23-21. Fort Valley State over Allen 49-40. Tuskegee over Lane 27-17. Miles College over Albany State 32-21, and Savannah State over Lincoln University 30-18. This week's schedule: Morehouse travels to Albany State, Miles College at Clark Atlanta. So they'll be up there with us on Saturday. Another part of Atlanta. South Carolina State at Fort Valley State. South Carolina State is Tony Carter's school where he played football at.
Sure is.
Head coach at Pine Forest. Kentucky State at Tuskegee. Central State at Lane. Savannah State at Edward Waters. And Benedict at Allen. Well, it's that time.
Do I get a drum roll?
You want a drum roll? I could do a drum roll.
Or a boo.
Or I can do this. Now I'll turn it down a little bit. Actually, we'll give you a drum roll. Bob, you deserve a drum roll. Let me find it here. Don't you love on-air production? Ooh, that's not our drum roll, but we got to talk our way through it because that's an actual commercial, and we're going to skip. And there you go.
Very simple. Grant's Rants for Tuesday, October 15th. Election Day. Coming up, November 5th. Be there, be square. Election Day.
You could actually vote early, can't you, Bob?
Sure can.
I think that starts here in next week or two.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'll be getting out of the way.
Yeah.
Early.
Election Day should be a national holiday.
It should be.
That's my only rant. I think I don't know if I guess states can set their own rules as far as that's concerned. But yesterday we honored Christopher Columbus.
Extended drum roll.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
And so I think we should.
Early voting starts next Monday. Joe is just a mountain of information, isn't he?
He is.
Not only is he Mr. Perfect in high school football picks, I still don't know how he does it.
So, those of you 18 years and older.
One, if you're not registered, get out there and register.
It's too late, I think.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Unless you're dead and you're from Chicago. Vote. Because if you don't vote, you ain't got no right to complain.
That's right. That's right.
It's a constitutional right, a responsibility of every citizen to go and vote. So a lot of people around the world don't have that right.
My good friend Dennis Luzak checking in from Panama City is someplace for the Mosley Dolphins. They are now number 25 in the state with that win over Niceville this past week. Thank you, Dennis, for getting me that information. And
so, and if you have youngsters, take them with you. Lead by example. Show them.
It's important.
The ins and outs. Of course it is. Of course it is.
It's one of the most important choices that you make. It's your right.
Some countries say, oh, we have democratic voting as they stand with rifles behind your back, making sure you check the right box. It doesn't matter who you vote for. The fact is, a lot of important stuff on there. Not only president, one of our Rick Scott is up for re-election. We are deciding whether to retain 2 Florida Supreme Court judges. We have 6 ballot initiatives in Florida, which is kind of unusual, where you collect signatures. You have legalizing marijuana. You have the abortion bill.
Sorry, I just got in the mood to twist.
So, go vote.
Grant's Rants, our last segment on every Tuesday night show from Culver's of Navarre. We hope that you've enjoyed the show again. Thank you, Joe, Deborah, Tim Keene checking in. We had others that checked in as well. And thank you for always coming on and watching our show on Tuesday nights. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's like the cup of tea that we like to serve.
And a lot of people don't watch it live, but they watch a replay after we're off. So do that if you can't make it.
I go back and watch the games all over. And it's not to hear myself talk.
No.
It's just so that I can garner more information going into my next broadcast. So, and see how close my stats are. They're usually pretty close.
Yeah, I go to improve myself. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have stepped on you or complained about my knees on the air. I should just shut up and be a
softball team coming out here a little bit later on a Tuesday night. I was in bed by this time when I was in high school. 9 o'clock. If I was up past 9, there was hell to be paid.
Yeah, heck to be paid, keeping me up in the morning.
Well, Deborah, Joe, Tim Keene, and all the others that checked in tonight, we appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed Irish Bill's Twist on Sports for Week 8 with Seminole Bob and Irish Bill. Until tomorrow night, from Buffalo Wild Wings, may the wind ever be at your back.